British counter-terror officials and police are fearing a backlash with the imminent release of Muslim hate preacher Anjem Choudary. Remember back in September 2016 when Muslim hate preacher Anjem Choudary was finally locked up? Well, there's an article here from The Guardian from back then. It says Anjem Choudary jailed for 5.5 years for urging support of ISIS. He was charged and convicted under the Terrorism Act. It says radical preachers sentenced to Old Bailey along with old acolyte Mohammed Rahman after being convicted of terrorism offences. This guy's been hate preaching for decades, seemingly with impunity, as it rightly says here, from any kind of legal punishment. He's trained and radicalised some of the worst Muslim extremists in the UK. He's been the most vocal supporter of ISIS in the UK, and he went to prison for 5 years. But he was only charged in September 2016, and now it looks like he's going to be released from prison. Seriously. So if you don't know that much about Anjem Choudary, let me give you a quick sort of background on him. He's a British Muslim radical supporter of ISIS, convicted under the Terrorism Act 2000. Former solicitor and spokesman for the banned Islamist group Islam for UK, and then he went on to Al-Muhajirun. He supports the implementation of Sharia in the UK and Europe, and he's not shy about talking about it. He said the Pope should be executed for insulting Islam, and he was a former recruiter for training centres across the UK that supported Osama bin Laden. Seriously, this guy is as radical as they come. And it was less than 2 years ago, and now he's about to be released. Choudary is currently in a separation centre in Her Majesty's Prison, Frankland, and anti-terrorism officials from Scotland Yard have said that they're concerned his release will heighten community tension. No kidding, given his history of radicalising young Muslims. A source from the Scotland Yard told The Times, "It's likely to encourage some of his followers to become more vocal and defiant in their extremist behaviour. The police are watching far-right and Islamist networks around the country, and we're reassuring the Muslim community that we're taking preemptive steps to clamp down on disorder." Now think about this. Andrew Parker, the head of MI5, has just told us that a terror attack has been stopped once a month for the last year. There's the upcoming anniversary of the London Bridge terror attack, which was committed by one of Choudary's old followers. And to hear now that Anjem Choudary, a man who supported ISIS, a man who supported banned Islamist groups, a man who was involved with recruitment centres for Osama bin Laden supporters, is going to be released from prison is an insult. It's amazing that the police are just happy to lock up any Tom, Dick and Harry for saying something naughty about the I word, the I religion. There's 900 specialists for hate crimes from the Metropolitan Police. And this is happening at the same time. People are being locked up for nonsense. And Anjem Choudary is being released from prison less than 2 years after he was charged for 5 years for ISIS. Where's the justice here? Monsters like Anjem Choudary should face real justice, real sentences, going away for a couple of years. After, he may not have blown anything up himself, but by encouraging other people to do things like this, he is as bad as anybody who steps out onto the street with a bomb in their backpack. Anjem Choudary is the definition of evil, and it's about time we saw some justice for the crimes that he's committed. When Anjem Choudary was convicted under the Terrorism Act 2000, the maximum sentence was 10 years, but he was told he would only serve 2 years behind bars. This is insanity. This shouldn't just be a conviction for supporting a terrorist group. In my mind, supporting ISIS in the UK is incitement to murder. When the deceased leader of ISIS, Abu al-Adnani, tells us this: "If you can kill a disbelieving American or European, especially the spiteful and filthy French, or an Australian, or a Canadian, or any other disbeliever from the disbelievers waging war, including the citizens of the countries that entered into a coalition against the Islamic State, then rely upon Allah and kill him in any manner or way, however it may be. Smash his head with a rock, or slaughter him with a knife, or run him over with your car, or throw him down from a high place, or choke him, or poison him." When the leader of ISIS says that, and a man in this country supports ISIS and encourages people to support ISIS, that, in my mind, is incitement to murder, and it's a connection to murder as well, because anybody in the UK who has committed acts like this, encouraged by ISIS and encouraged by people like this man, Anjem Choudary, he has some blame in this. This man should serve as an example of what happens in the Western world, in the free world, when you incite murder in the name of a religion and an ideology that hates us. Anjem Choudary should rot in jail for his crimes, for the people that have died in the UK, for the children that have been butchered and murdered in the street and run down with cars. Anjem Choudary is at fault for encouraging people to do things like this, and he should rot in jail for the rest of his life. If you like that and want to see more, remember to like and subscribe and download the new Rebel app from the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store.